Welcome back to Tiny Ass Kitchen. No? Welcome back to Van Life Cooking, the Tiny Ass Kitchen edition. As some of you might know, I moved out of the van for the winter season into this really tiny studio at the park. And every time I step into this tiny ass kitchen, I get irrationally angry. The apartment itself is okay. It's not okay for what I pay for it, but it's okay, it's livable. But just every time I step foot in here, I'm just mad. It's so tiny and I hate it. To put it in perspective, I have more counter space and more storage in the van than I do in here. What was it? 7 times more counter space in the van? And I have I'd say about 1 foot in here. So I do most of my prepping for cooking on this tiny table in my tiny kitchen. One of the major bummers about this place is that it doesn't have an oven. So I borrowed this toaster oven and that's what I've been using to bake. I can only cook or do dishes. I can't do both at the same time. I have this 1/4-inch piece of plywood that I put over the stove. Yeah, that's not the safest. So that I can have a place to put my drying rack for my dishes. So if I'm actually using the stovetop to cook, I don't have a place to do dishes. Anyway, we're not here to talk about housing. We are here to do some cooking in this tiny kitchen. So let's get down to cooking in the tiny kitchen. Here are the menu items that we are cooking this week. Every week I make a batch of homemade granola with nuts and berries and oats. So I'm gonna make a batch of that today. I also have a recipe for baked chicken meatballs that I absolutely love and it's super easy, so I'm gonna make that as well. Bake it in my little toaster oven over here. The last recipe is something new I've never made before, but it looks really, really good. It is lemon cannellini beans with kale. So we're gonna try that recipe today. Tiny ass kitchen edition. Yeah. I have my tiny ass oven preheated to 350. I'm gonna add 4 cups of oats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna add about 1/2 cup of different types of nuts. Slivered almonds, pecan pieces. Then I'm gonna throw some walnuts in there as well. I guess I should break them up a little. I think I'm supposed to do 1/2 cup. It's okay. The more the merrier. Now we're gonna add some fruit. So I'm gonna use some unsweetened dried cranberries, some raisins. Damn. Drop everything in the tiny kitchen. Okay, we're gonna add that in. All right, now we have to add, this is 1/2 cup of coconut oil, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, if I can open it. Oh God, seriously? I got it. I might do a little less. I don't like it too sweet. All right, a little bit of salt. I think it was like a teaspoon or so. So that's probably it. I believe it's 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, but I love cinnamon, so I'm putting extra. A teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now it's time to mix. I put some parchment paper on the tiny tray that goes in the tiny oven. And then I'm just going to spread this out as thin as I can. Because it is going on this tiny tray, I will just have to stir it more once it's in the oven. Now let's put it in the tiny oven. All right, let's take out this granola because I need the tiny pan. All right, this is what we have. Super brown and crunchy, a little crispy, crunchy, love it. Oh, I knew it. I knew it was going nowhere good. Oh my God. All right, let's make some chicken meatballs. First thing I have to do is chop up 2 tablespoons of the parsley. some Romano, or I guess Parmesan cheese. I think that might be about it's a quarter cup. Three-quarters of a cup of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. Half a cup. Half a teaspoon of salt. Estimate that a little bit. About a half teaspoon. And we need a half teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm gonna do a little extra because I don't have onion powder, and that's the next ingredient. All right, so let's mix that up. 2 scrambled eggs, so those. And I'm actually gonna save these because I give these, actually in this case I can give her the whole thing because these are from a local farm. But if not, you can take out this inner membrane and give that to your dogs. That'll be really good for their hips and joints. And if it's farm fresh like this, you can give them the whole egg, including the shell. We're gonna add that all to this mix here. Now let's add in the chicken. So I just have this ground chicken from Trader Joe's. This is a pound. I'll save a little bit for Sailor. This is truly the easiest meatball recipe I've ever made. There's no cutting of anything except the parsley. Just kind of mixing up a bunch of ingredients. All right, we are running out of daylight, so now we are moving on to artificial light, which sucks, but whatever. We're gonna make these into little meatballs. I don't know, maybe that's too big. I don't know. Somewhere around here. Okay. I had to kind of squeeze them on here because it's a tiny tray. Whatever works. Let's get these in the oven. Oh yeah. Look at that. I'm gonna taste it. Oh yeah. My plan is to make some traditional spaghetti with some red sauce, top it with some of these meatballs. Classic, delicious, easy. Let's make the cannellini beans. First we have to slice up an onion. I have this half onion left, so I'm gonna use that. Recipes that now I need a few handfuls of kale, and I buy this cooking kale, which has a lot of these really stocky middle pieces. So I like to just kind of get rid of those and clean it up before I use kale that comes like this. All right, now we add 6 cloves of garlic. All right, we let that cook for about a minute. Now we're gonna add 2 cans of cannellini beans with the brine. Now we're gonna add about a cup of, it calls for chicken stock, but I actually have chicken bone broth that I made the other day. So we're gonna use a cup of this instead. Maybe a little more. And we're gonna bring that to a boil. All right, let's add in our lime, because I don't have lemon. Then we're gonna add in our kale. Kind of wilt that down in there.